Reddit fresh. Am I the idiot for not telling my girlfriend that my parents are gay? I, male 25, have two parents. My birth dad, John, male 48, and my other dad, Dwayne, male 45. I call my birth dad John, Dad, and I call my other dad, Dwayne, Pops. My birth dad, John, was married to my mom for a few years. Then she left my dad and they ended up divorcing and now she's somewhere in California. IDK where or what she's doing. Haven't talked to her in ages. So Dad and Pops I'm super close with. They are the best parents any child could ask for. I love both of them and they've always been with me. My dad introduced me to Pops when I was a little boy and they had told me they were in a relationship. And I was all for it because I had seen my dad become lonely sad when he was single. So seeing the fact that my dad loves someone and has a life partner made me super happy. Pops and Dad got married, and we've been living an amazing life. I'm probably more close to Pops than my own dad, haha. Due to the fact that Pops is really cool and he's laid back. I love both of them equally, and they love me as well, and I'm blessed to have them as parents. For a few months I've been dating this girl Bella, who's my age. I thought she's pretty cute and I liked her, so we kicked it and recently she told me, "My parents want to meet your parents and want to come over for dinner." I said, "Sure. I'll tell my family." So, yesterday, Friday night, Bella comes in. Pops greets her and says, "Come on in, sweetheart, dinner is ready." She says, "You must be ______ Dad, so good to meet you." And she shakes his hand and she sees Dad come out of the kitchen. He's holding the mac and cheese tray with the mittens and is putting it on the table. Then Bella says, "Who's he?" I said, "Oh, that's my dad." She said, "I thought he's your dad." She's referring to Pops. I say, "Yeah, that's my Pops? And that's my dad?" She pulls me to the side and says, "I didn't know your parents are gay. Oh my God, why didn't you tell me?" I genuinely didn't know why that'd be an issue or so, because you're dating me, not my parents and all. So it shouldn't matter. But I guess it's a concern for her. Her parents come to the door after they park the car and Bella tells her parents, "Let's leave," and they leave. I told my parents I'm sorry and they said, "Son, don't worry, this is nothing new, haha." And then we all sat down and enjoyed dinner and went to sleep. So am I the idiot for not telling? Not the idiot, but perhaps naive. Unfortunately, it's probably better to let a girlfriend know you have two dads so you can weed out the homophobes before you accidentally bring them home for dinner. Everyone sucks here. Obviously, you dodged a homophobic bullet here, but you should consider pre-screening this information so your parents don't have to deal with unnecessary bigotry. Just tell women ahead of time, and if they object, then you don't bring them home. It's a considerate thing to do for your parents. Now for the next story. Am I the idiot for blowing up at my uncle for coming out as trans? My uncle, 64, has been married for 42 years and has 4 kids. Her and her wife have been separated for a few months, but are still trying to sort out their differences. Every year around March, the whole family holds a sort of spring banquet. Due to their separation, my uncle and her wife arrived, well, separately. My uncle's wife arrived first with the kids, not long after my uncle showed up. She was wearing a full face of makeup and a dress. At first, everyone thought it was some kind of joke and started laughing, but soon realized it wasn't. When we sat down for dinner, she fully came out and said she identified as a woman now. My uncle's wife almost immediately burst into tears and left the room. Her eldest went after her while the rest of us stared at my uncle in shock. Now here's where it gets interesting. My uncle has expressed not feeling like a man to some of the family, including me. It was why we pushed for her to get a divorce. When they got separated, we thought my uncle had finally told her. Come to find out she did not. Back to the dinner table. My uncle's wife and son had run out, and the youngest was in hysterics. So I lashed out. It wasn't the smartest thing to do looking back, but I told her she was a selfish piece of poop, and if she thought anyone was proud, she'd been snorting too much coke. She left immediately. A few days ago, my mother called me and said I'd taken it too far and that my uncle wasn't responding to anyone's calls or texts. I know I was a bit harsh, but it wasn't the right place or time to reveal that, especially when she hadn't told her wife and kids. For everyone to know something like this was up, except for her, I honestly feel terrible for my uncle's wife. This is a 64-year-old we're talking about to come out that way after so long. I love my uncle, My uncle was the first person to teach me how to ride a bike. Drive, but this is just... I think I could have been more sensitive. Am I the idiot? Edit. Seen a few comments about this? I quickly want to say, she said she was fine with using uncle/dad, etc., but wanted to be referred to as she, her, and her new name. Edit 2. This is not written the best, but her wife and kids didn't know, not the idiot. This is not the kind of thing that you keep secret from your spouse and kids and then suddenly hit them with it in a public setting. Your comment was indeed inappropriate, but I would excuse you given the shock of realizing that this was a surprise for your spouse and kids as well. Not the idiot. Seems the only persons whose feelings matter is the uncles, who just dropped a huge bomb on wife and kids and expected everyone to be jolly and set. I hate to say it, but I'm so sick of seeing stories of these couples who have a long marriage plus children, all for it to be used as a facade. You truly knew this your whole life, but want to drag innocent people down with you? No. Stay single, and when you're ready to tell your truth, tell it. Quit involving innocent people. Now, for the next story. Would I be the idiot if I made my autistic sister replace the whole bed? I, female 21, was at university when my sister, female 23, who is autistic, and her, now ex-girlfriend, female 25, slept in my bed multiple times. I found out last night when looking through my photos and discovered photos of them naked in my bed with my sheets and everything. I was disturbed and felt violated. Elle was using my old phone without permission, and it was still on my account, which is why the pictures ended up in my library. There were times I came home and my room looked slightly different, but I ignored it. I texted the ex and she confirmed that they had. The only reason was that my room was always clean, and Elle is very messy. My room was my safe space after some traumatic events in my life. Also, I used to share my room with my little sister who passed away in March, which is making the whole situation worse. I have never even slept in my bed with my exes. Someone is always home, and I wouldn't try to make anyone in the house uncomfortable. Also, my little sister was still alive. I didn't want to disrespect her in case she got better. When I found out last night, I couldn't stop crying and throwing up from crying so hard. I slept on my floor. I don't think I can sleep in my bed ever again. When talking with my parents, my dad had no idea and was really upset for me. He's going to move his bed upstairs until I can get a new one. He will sleep on the couch. My mom claims she never heard them go in there, which I think is a lie. I said what would be fair is Elle buying me a new mattress and blankets/sheets. However, my mattress is a 3/4, which is difficult to find. The frame I have now was a gift from my G-ma. She bought a new mattress for it that had to be customized. So I said then she can get me the cheapest bed frame until I can save up for one, even though I'd prefer to have my original frame. Elle doesn't work, is on disability, and gets around $800 a month. Her money is all spending money. My mom thinks I should get the cheapest mattress, $60 a month for 12, put it on the floor until I can buy myself a new bed frame, and just wash the sheets. The mattress I want will be about $80 a month for 12, even though mine is nicer. I'd get the cheapest frame about $150 and bed in a bag. I'd save up to get a nicer frame/sheets. My mom is saying it's not fair because she's different. She also wants to pay for half, so Elle's spending money isn't affected. I have ADHD. I know it's not the same thing as autism, but still, it's not fair she gets special treatment. Elle said, "Sorry, but it's not fair because I'm autistic, I don't know any better." Which is BS, because if I did the same thing to her, she would take a fit, and I'd be expected to replace everything. My mom has enabled her for basically her whole life. My mom's parents agree. My dad is on my side, but is staying out of it. So would I be the idiot if I made her replace everything, not just buy me a mattress? Not the idiot. She had no right to use your bed just because her room is messy. I would be upset about that myself. If I understand correctly, you weren't told and slept on dirty sheets too? That is nasty. I think you are going a bit overboard myself, but whatever makes you comfortable is fine since you are the wrong party. Not the idiot. A mental illness doesn't give you entitlement. I have 4 mental health disorders, and I would never want special treatment. I would rather be treated normal like everyone else. Mental illnesses shouldn't even be listed in this post because it's irrelevant. Your sister purposely slept with her ex in your room. She should know better, and definitely should make it up to you however you choose to do that. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for not telling my daughter I'm proud of her but being proud of my son? My 48 female children, Leah, 26 female, and Kevin, 21 male, are complete opposites. Kevin is a great student and a great athlete, has goals and works hard for them. Leah is the kind to have big goals too, but gives up very easily. Both of our children have had the same opportunities growing up, and neither has had to help or work more than the other did. Leah had tried many activities during her life. The problem is that if she's not excellent at it right away, then she gets frustrated and gives up. This is a pattern in her life. Kevin, on the other hand, has always been into sports. He played football through school, and he also plays baseball, basketball, and soccer. He's also better at school than she is. I think part of that is because he had to keep up his grades if he wanted to continue in the school team. Leah didn't have a reason to have great grades, so although she never failed a class either, her grades had always been lower than Kevin's. After graduating, Leah wasn't interested in pursuing further education. Still, as it would make my husband and I happy that she would at least try it, she did. She wasn't able to finish her second semester because she didn't like it. She got into a job after that, which is fine if she liked that. She and her boyfriend, they had been together since high school, got engaged that same year too, and Leah told us she wanted to be a mom. She felt like that was her call. She was very young, but I was 2 when I had her, so it's fine. She got pregnant, but she and the guy broke off. She couldn't take care of her baby, so my husband and I are raising our grandson. Now she's 26, and the truth is, she hasn't fulfilled any of her wishes or goals. She doesn't have a career, is not married, and is not a mother. She does nothing of the care and doesn't live with us. Kevin won a scholarship because he's an athlete. Now he's studying at a prestigious university and is part of his college's football team too. He's fulfilling his dreams because he's working on them. Last week was Kevin's birthday. Our baby turned 21, so my husband and I planned a small party for him. We were all having a good time. Kevin was telling us about how good his grades were this last semester. I told him we were very proud of him for working so hard. Leah told me I had never told her that I was proud of her. I told her this was not the moment to talk about that because this party was for her brother, and she dropped it. However, she brought it up again the next day at my house. She asked me why I never told her I'm proud of her. So I told her that I don't feel like she has done something to be proud of. Like I'm proud that she's a nice girl and very respectful, but she still hasn't done something to fulfill her dreams and make us proud. She went off on me and accused me of telling her she's a failure, although I did not do that. She was very angry and left. My husband agrees with me, but she's angry. Am I the idiot? Edit. I can't reply to comments anymore because I've been banned. Sorry about that. You're the idiot. You're honestly telling me that in 26 years your daughter has done 0 to be proud of? Wow, her therapist must love the money they are getting after this poor girl had you as a parent. Not the idiot. All the people saying YTA need to get a grip. How is it the mother's fault? The daughter decided she wanted all of these things only to give them up. For example, she wanted to be a mom, and her mother gave her good advice that she has the rest of her life, but it is up to her. But when she got pregnant, she decided she didn't want to be a mom anymore, so now OP raises her grandchild. Babies aren't accessories. The daughter is a massive idiot. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for having completely different standards for my daughter and stepdaughter despite them being the same age? My wife and I each have a daughter from previous relationships, both of whom are 17. My daughter lives with us and has since we got married 10 years ago. My wife's daughter Marcy, fake name, never has. The full story of what happened is very long, but the shorthand is that despite almost 16 years of legal battles, court filings, and CPS investigations, my wife was never able to get custody or even consistent visits. There were a few orders on her side at points, but enforcing them was impossible. It sounds like an excuse, I know, but it's really not. Things came to a head again last fall, and Marcy was presented with an opportunity to either sit patiently for my wife to pull another filing together and roll the dice again, or emancipate herself. She decided she wanted emancipation. My wife decided to back it because, and it blows my mind that this was the case, emancipation had the better chance of winning, and Marcy gave the impression that she was using this as the way to get away from her father and would want to come live with her. She had no intention of this. but it finally opened the door for them to talk. And now she's coming to visit for 3 weeks this summer. Should be great. But now we have a conflict with my daughter. For obvious reasons, we can't have any of the kind of rules that we would have if she was a child in our house. If it's not something that would be a problem for an adult guest to do, I just have to let it go. Of course, I think that a 17-year-old smoking is a huge deal, but I can't fight about that with her. I can just say not to smoke indoors. Of course, I don't want to also be welcoming Marcy's partner to come stay with us for the trip, but that's a deal breaker for her, and my wife wants this to happen, so it's happening. My daughter is pissed because, in her words, she's seeing someone that's literally 2 months younger than her be held to a completely different standard. Unfortunately, the reality is that while they're both 17, Marcy just isn't a child like my daughter is. We'd love to live in the world where both girls grew up living with us, and we got to have the exact same standards and similar conflicts, but that's not the one we live in. I've tried explaining to her that this is an incredibly weird and difficult situation, and that honestly this can't be compared to a normal family because it just isn't, but she's not having any of that. I tried to tell her to just pretend that Marcy is in her 20s and is an adoptee that's reuniting with her birth mother, because that's the closest scenario I can think of to this, and that made my wife start crying, and now she's mad at me too, and everyone is fighting. I don't really see what I could do differently. This just kind of has to be what it is, and they won't accept it. Not the idiot. This is a pretty tough spot to be in. Marcy knows she has the power in this relationship, and she's flexing her muscles for sure. I would love an update after the 3-week visit, as I'm sure it will not go smoothly for any of you. Not the idiot. But to be perfectly blunt, you are opening Pandora's box by bringing these two together. I would drum up a plan for your daughter to visit family, go to camp/whatever, during the visit, and keep them apart as long as possible.